Let's be real. Most men have no idea what actually drives attraction. Here's the truth nobody's telling you. Seduction isn't about smooth lines or expensive dates. It's about masculine power. The kind that makes a woman feel something before you even open your mouth. This video is going to break down the real psychology behind desire, confidence, and why some men effortlessly get what they want, while others keep wondering what went wrong. And trust me, once you see this, you can't unsee it. Now, before we dive deep, if this kind of raw, honest content speaks to you, do me a quick favor. Drop a like, leave a comment, and share this with a brother who needs to hear it. You might just change someone's life today. This is the art of seduction, and everything starts with one powerful shift in mindset. The art of seduction. How to get everything you want from women. There's a version of a man that women can't ignore. Not because he's the richest guy in the room, not because he looks like he stepped off a magazine cover, but because of something deeper, something almost magnetic. That thing has a name, masculine power. And the wild part? Most men are sitting on it without even knowing it. The real game of seduction was never about tactics or tricks. It was always about who you are when nobody's watching, and who you become when you decide to stop playing small. Here's what the red pill actually means. And no, it's not about being cold or manipulative. It's about seeing reality as it truly is, not as you were told it should be. For decades, men have been fed a narrative. Be nice, be available, agree with everything, and love will find you. But deep down, something never added up. Attraction doesn't follow kindness alone. It follows value, presence, and the kind of confidence that doesn't need external validation to exist. That's the uncomfortable truth most men aren't ready to face, but you clearly are. Let's talk about mindset, because everything, and we mean everything, starts there. A man can have the looks, the money, the wardrobe, and still repel women without understanding why. Meanwhile, another guy walks in with nothing flashy, and the entire room shifts. The difference? His inner game is locked in. He's not thinking about what she thinks of him. He's thinking about what he thinks of himself. That internal shift, from seeking approval to radiating certainty, is where real transformation begins. And it's more learnable than you think. One of the most underrated concepts in psychology is frame control. Think of a frame as the invisible lens through which an interaction is interpreted. Whoever holds the frame holds the power. When a man walks into a conversation needing it to go well, he's already surrendered his frame. But when he walks in grounded, unbothered, and fully present, she starts adjusting to him. That's not manipulation. That's leadership in its most natural form. And women, consciously or not, are deeply drawn to a man who knows how to hold his ground without flinching. Now, body language speaks before your mouth ever opens. Studies from behavioral psychology, including the landmark research popularized by Albert Mehrabian, suggest that over 55% of communication is nonverbal. So while men obsess over what to say, women are already reading how you stand, how you breathe, how you move through a room. Slow down your pace. Take up space unapologetically. Make eye contact that doesn't run away. These aren't just social tips. They're signals of masculine energy that operate below the conscious level and hit straight at the core of desire. Authenticity is the most seductive force on the planet, and also the most misunderstood. Men often confuse performing confidence with actually having it. They put on a show, say what they think she wants to hear, and wonder why it feels hollow. Real charisma doesn't come from impressing people. It comes from being so deeply rooted in who you are that you stop needing anyone's approval to feel whole. When a man operates from that place, honest, grounded, unapologetic, something shifts in the dynamic. She stops being a goal and starts being a choice. That's power. Let's talk about rejection, because this one topic alone keeps thousands of men stuck. Most guys treat rejection like a verdict, like it means something permanent about their value. But here's the reframe that changes everything. Rejection is just redirection. It's data, not a death sentence. The man who develops an abundance mindset doesn't collapse when a woman says no. He nods, moves on, and keeps his energy for someone who actually deserves it. That emotional resilience, or that ability to stay solid under pressure, is one of the most quietly attractive things a man can develop. Self-mastery is the foundation that everything else is built on, and yet it's the step most men skip because it's the hardest one. It asks you to look inward instead of outward. A man who can regulate his emotions, control his impulses, and stay disciplined when nobody's cheering him on is a man who carries real dominance. Not the loud, aggressive kind, but the quiet, unshakable kind. Women sense this. They may not be able to explain it, but they feel the difference between a man who's mastered himself and one who's still running on autopilot. Emotional intelligence doesn't make a man weak. It makes him dangerous in the best possible way. Knowing how to read a room, understanding what a woman is actually feeling beneath her words, And responding from a place of calm awareness rather than reaction, that's a superpower. Most men either shut down emotionally or overflow. The man with high emotional intelligence does neither. He listens deeply, responds precisely, and never lets her emotions become his emergency. That steadiness, that unshakable calm, is one of the most underestimated drivers of a lasting attraction. Here's something that'll make you think twice. Neediness is the single fastest way to destroy desire. It doesn't matter how good looking you are or how well things started. The moment a man becomes emotionally dependent on a woman's validation, the dynamic collapses. Confidence isn't just about how you carry yourself in public. It's about what happens internally when she doesn't text back, when plans fall through, when she pulls away. A man who stays grounded in those moments, who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't spiral, that man becomes irresistible almost by accident. Boundaries aren't walls, they're a declaration of self-respect. And nothing communicates value more clearly than a man who knows what he will and won't accept. Men who say yes to everything, who bend their standards to keep a woman comfortable, don't come across as loving, they come across as desperate. Real boundaries say, I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I'm not negotiating that for anyone. That kind of clarity is magnetic. It tells a woman, without a single word, that this man has a spine, a direction, and something worth respecting. Let's talk about presence. Real, undivided, electric presence. In a world of distracted men constantly half there, half scrolling, the man who can make a woman feel like she's the only person in the room holds extraordinary power. This isn't about being obsessive or intense. It's about giving your full attention in the moment, listening without waiting for your turn to talk, engaging without performing. That quality of presence is rarer than most people realize, and when a woman experiences it, it creates a kind of emotional imprint that's very hard to forget. That's seduction at its most elegant. Purpose is one of the most attractive things a man can have. And ironically, one of the things most men sacrifice chasing women. The alpha male isn't a man who makes women his mission. He's a man who has a mission, and women become drawn to the energy that creates. When a man is locked into his purpose, building something, growing something, becoming something, his entire masculine energy shifts. He stops being available for everything and starts being selective. And that selectivity, that sense that his time and attention mean something, is deeply viscerally attractive to the right woman. Let's pause here and get practical, because knowledge without application is just entertainment. One of the most powerful exercises a man can do is a confidence audit. Every week, ask yourself 3 questions. Where did I hold my frame? Where did I give my power away? What would the strongest version of me have done differently? This isn't about self-criticism, it's about calibration. You can find structured versions of this kind of journaling at resources like The Daily Stoic, or through mentors like Ryan Holiday, whose work bridges ancient psychology with modern transformation beautifully. There's a story worth telling here about a man who had everything on paper, a stable job, a decent apartment, good intentions, but every relationship he entered followed the same pattern. He'd meet a woman, feel that spark, and immediately shift his entire world around her. He canceled plans with friends, suppressed his opinions to avoid conflict, texted first every single time, and every single time, without fail, she'd slowly lose interest. He couldn't figure out why. He was doing everything he thought was right. But what he didn't yet understand was that in trying to keep her, he was erasing himself. And desire can't survive where there's no mystery, no masculine power, no tension. So this man did something most men never do. He stopped. He stopped chasing, stopped performing, stopped trying to be what he thought women wanted. Instead, he turned inward. He picked up books on psychology and inner game. Works like The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida and No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover. He started working out, not for her, but for himself. He rebuilt his social circle, reignited old passions, and slowly, something unexpected happened. Women started noticing him differently, not because he'd learned tricks, but because he'd become someone worth noticing. The transformation was real, and it started the day he chose himself. And here's what nobody tells you about that shift. It doesn't just change how women see you, it changes how you see yourself. When a man reclaims his self-mastery, his entire world reorganizes. His standards rise, his tolerance for drama drops. His energy becomes something people want to be around, not just women, but everyone. That internal upgrade radiates outward in ways that no cologne, no outfit, and no pickup line ever could. And here's the thing, this channel exists precisely for moments like this one. So if what you're hearing right now is hitting different, if something inside you is saying, this is what I've been missing, don't wait. Hit that like button right now, subscribe if you haven't yet, and turn on notifications. Because what's coming next in this channel is going to go even deeper, and you don't want to miss a single drop of it. The men who act on this today are the ones who look back 6 months from now completely unrecognizable. Let's continue. Charisma isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's a skill you build through reps, and the foundation of a genuine charisma is simple: make people feel seen. In the context of seduction, this is everything. A man who asks thoughtful questions, who remembers small details, who makes a woman feel genuinely heard, not as a strategy, but as an authentic expression of emotional intelligence, creates a connection that goes far deeper than surface attraction. Practice this everywhere, with friends, strangers, colleagues. The more natural it becomes in low-stakes settings, the more effortlessly it shows up when it actually matters. Here's a concept that flips the script completely. Seduction isn't something you do to someone, it's something you embody. The men who understand this stop trying to seduce and start focusing on becoming seductive. There's a massive difference. One is a performance with an agenda. The other is a natural overflow of a man who's fully alive, fully present, and completely secure in his authenticity. Women don't fall for techniques, they fall for energy. And energy is something you can't fake for long. But when it's real, when it comes from genuine inner game, it's absolutely unstoppable. Let's address something most men avoid: the relationship between dominance and respect. True dominance, the kind that actually works in attraction, has nothing to do with control or aggression. It's the natural result of a man who leads himself so well that others want to follow his direction. In a romantic dynamic, this looks like making decisions without constant second-guessing, having a vision for your life that doesn't require her approval, and holding emotional space without collapsing under pressure. That's what leadership looks like in real life: quiet, grounded, and deeply compelling to any woman who's paying attention. And one of the most powerful things a man can do for his attraction is master the art of strategic silence. Most men talk too much, especially when they're nervous or trying to impress. But the man who's comfortable with silence, who doesn't feel compelled to fill every gap in conversation, communicates something profound through that stillness. I don't need your validation. That energetic calm, that presence that doesn't beg for attention, is one of the subtlest and most powerful signals of masculine energy. Try it consciously in your next conversation and watch the entire dynamic shift in real time. Let's get honest about something. Most men approach women from a place of scarcity, as if she's the prize and he's auditioning. That energy is felt instantly. But the man operating from an abundance mindset enters every interaction differently. He's genuinely curious, not desperate. He's evaluating her just as much as she's evaluating him. That mutual selectivity changes the entire frame of the interaction. Suddenly, he's not chasing, he's choosing. And that subtle but seismic shift in dynamic is what transforms a forgettable encounter into an unforgettable one. Frame control starts before you even say hello. Value. Let's define it in plain terms, because it's the word everyone throws around without really unpacking it. In the context of attraction, value isn't just money or status. It's the perception that a man has options, has direction, and has standards. It's built through how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you're unwilling to compromise. A man who invests in his health, his skills, his social life, and his ambitions is building real, tangible value. The kind that creates genuine desire without him needing to say a single word about it. Actions always speak louder. Social proof is one of the most underrated elements of seduction, and it operates almost entirely on the subconscious level. When a man is surrounded by people who respect him, laugh with him, and genuinely enjoy his company, women take note. This isn't about performing for an audience. It's about actually building a life rich enough that abundance is visible. Join communities that align with your growth: fitness groups, entrepreneurship circles, creative collectives. Platforms like Meetup, local networking events, or even well-curated Discord communities around your interests can be incredible starting points for expanding your social world authentically. Let's bring it back to psychology for a moment, specifically the concept of polarity. In attraction, polarity is the energetic tension between masculine energy and feminine energy. The stronger and more defined a man's masculine core, the more natural and powerful the polarity becomes. This isn't about gender roles in a rigid sense. It's about energetic alignment. A man who is grounded, directional, and emotionally steady creates a natural space for feminine energy to open up and flow. When polarity weakens, usually because the man abandons his dominance out of fear or approval seeking, desire quietly disappears with it. Here's the part that most red pill content skips, and it's crucial. Genuine seduction requires you to actually like yourself, not in a performative Instagram caption kind of way, but in the deep, quiet, unshakable kind of way that comes from doing the real work. Therapy, journaling, meditation, physical discipline, these aren't soft pursuits. They're the forge where real self-mastery is built. Apps like Waking Up by Sam Harris for mindfulness, or structured programs like 75. Hard for discipline are solid starting points. The man who does this inner work doesn't just become more attractive, he becomes more himself. And that's the whole point. Confidence built on real experience is entirely different from the kind built on bravado. The man who's faced rejection, stayed in the discomfort, and kept moving forward has something money can't buy: earned certainty. Every time he chose action over fear, he deposited something into his inner game account. Over time, that account becomes a reserve, a deep, unshakable knowing that whatever happens, he'll be okay. That emotional bedrock is what makes a man genuinely magnetic. Women don't just sense confidence, they feel the history behind it, and that history is built one courageous step at a time. Real transformation in a man's romantic life never comes from learning how to get women. It comes from becoming the kind of man that the right woman recognizes as someone worth staying for. That distinction is everything. The skills, the mindset, the emotional intelligence, the authenticity, none of it is about manipulation. It's about elevation. It's about becoming so fully yourself and so grounded, so purposeful, so alive, that attraction becomes a natural byproduct of who you are. The question was never, how do I get what I want from women? The real question, the one that changes everything, is who do I need to become? So here's the question that should be sitting with you right now. Not what's her number, or what's the best line to use, but something far more powerful. Who am I becoming? Because everything covered in this video points to one undeniable truth. The man who masters himself masters his world. The attraction, the desire, the connections you've always wanted, they don't come from tricks. They come from transformation. Now it's your turn. Take one thing from today, just one, and apply it this week. Maybe it's holding your frame in a conversation that usually makes you shrink. Maybe it's saying no when every part of you wants to say yes just to be liked. Maybe it's simply standing a little taller, speaking a little slower, and owning the room you're already in. Whatever it is, do it. Start today, not tomorrow. And here's what I want you to do right now. Drop a comment below. Tell me, what was the biggest shift this video created for you? Write, I choose myself in the comments if this hit home. That simple act of declaration is more powerful than you think. Let's build this community of men who are actually doing the work. If this video added real value to your life, please take 2 seconds to hit that like button. It genuinely helps more men find this content. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. A friend, a brother, someone who's been stuck in the same loop. You might not realize it, but forwarding this video could be the nudge that changes someone's entire trajectory. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe and ring that bell, because this channel is dedicated to the kind of depth, honesty, and masculine growth content that's genuinely hard to find. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for watching this until the very end. That tells me everything I need to know about the kind of man you're becoming. See you in the next one.